Good afternoon and welcome to WINOL. My name is Amelia Hopkinson. With RMT Union announcing another set of strikes for the upcoming month, disruption once again lays ahead. Jamie O'Sullivan has more.
On Friday, the RMT Union announced they will once again stage walkouts and go on strike in their ongoing dispute over pay, job security and working conditions. The union rejected an offer made in mid-February after that month's strikes, as the offer did not meet the needs of the workers. The upcoming strikes will take place on the 16th, 18th and 30th of March, as well as the 1st of April. The time of these strikes couldn't have come at a worse time, especially for travellers and as well as the general public, with Easter on the horizon, especially with those with plans.
Not really happy with the train strikes really. Had a surprise party ready for me down Southampton to get the train down, all arranged. Then the train strike come along, so now I've got to pay for a taxi, a lot more, the cost of living, the petrol, absolutely horrendous. Train strike, waste of time.
The latter dates of these fresh strikes, the 30th of March and the 1st of April, coincide with the end of the second semester here at the University of Winchester. Sarah is a student here at the University of Winchester, who was previously affected by the strikes back in December when trying to get home for Christmas.
It took about 4 hours and then my mum had to pick me up and it cost a lot in petrol. So obviously this time I'm either going to have to spend those 4 hours on the train again or try and get my mum to pick me up or just stay here. I just think the train strikes, maybe they could just put a hold on it because it's just affecting loads of people and I'm not sure if they're going to achieve what they want to achieve.
Jamie O'Sullivan, Winchester News Online.
Southern Water has been described as a mess by local MP Caroline Noakes after thousands of people across Hampshire were left without water for several days. Tom Wilson is in the studio to explain.
2 MPs, one from Winchester and one from Romsey, are demanding answers, as this is now the second time in less than 2 months that the water supply has been cut off. The failure at Otterbourne has left people high and dry, as 13,000 properties were affected earlier this week, with Southern Water still continuing to tackle the problem. Bottled water stations have been set up around Winchester and Southampton to allow people to cook and wash. The situation has become so drastic that a local MP has taken action. Caroline Noakes for Romsey and Southampton North gave a statement to the BBC that she would ask the Speaker of the House of Commons to grant an urgent debate next week. And of course, if you have been affected by the water shortages, we would love to hear from you. Contact us at t.wilson.20@unimel.winchester.ac.uk.
Each day, nearly 1,000 people go into cardiac arrest and need urgent CPR and assistance from a defibrillator. But do you know where your nearest one is? Well, I've been finding out whereabouts they are in Winchester.
You never know when you may need to use a defibrillator, so it's important that you are aware of where they are. Winchester has 38 defibrillators which are registered to the circuit, a defibrillator network which provides a nationwide view of where they can be found. If you are ever with someone who is unresponsive and not breathing normally, it's important that you send someone to find a defibrillator whilst you begin CPR. Most people though are actually afraid to use a defibrillator as they don't know what to do. But what they don't realise is defibrillators actually take you through step by step what you must do.
If you need to give a shock to a person, it means they're either they need to be unconscious and they need to be in a certain heart rhythm. Otherwise, it doesn't work. The number of people that are saved by using a defib rises every year. So it's good. It's really good.
55 out of every 100,000 people experience an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. In 7 out of 10 cases, CPR is attempted by a bystander, and in less than 1 out of 10 cases, a defibrillator is actually used.
In the situation when I was in Morrison's and that lady collapsed and I started to do CPR on her, if there'd have been a defibrillator around at the time, then it would have probably made a lot of difference.
If you are ever in a situation where you need to use a defibrillator, remember to remain calm and follow its simple instructions. Amelia Hopkinson, Winchester News Online.
A big travel update is coming to Winchester. Hampshire County Council is looking into how they can make the city safer and better connected for drivers, cyclists and pedestrians. Sinead Cochrane visited one of the routes, which is the main focus of this change.
Hampshire County Council are looking to upgrade the cycle path along Worthy Road as part of the Winchester City Council local walking and cycling infrastructure plans. These plans are a part of the Winchester Movement Strategy, which aims to provide more space for people to walk and cycle.
We want to hear their views on some initial proposals for how Worthy Road could potentially be improved so that people can walk and cycle more easily to and from Winchester.
As part of the strategy, there is a new zebra crossing on Wales Street, walking and cycling improvements along Romsey Road, and Great Minster Street is now closed to traffic. But many of the local people do not feel safe cycling and feel that the city can be improved, something that Cycle Winchester has been campaigning for over the last 5 years.
We're asking really the authorities to invest in cycleways, safe cycleways. There's an enormous number of people who would cycle if only the streets were safer for them to do so.
Cycle Winchester are encouraging people to attend the workshop hosted by Hampshire County Council at Winchester Rugby Club and Jubilee Hall on the 21st and 22nd of February to make sure that their voice is heard. Worthy Road is not the only priority on the Winchester Movement Strategy. We plan to create 13 new walking routes and 9 cycling routes over the next decade as a way to further connect the city to schools, shops and park and ride sites. Sinead Cochrane, Winchester News Online.
During the height of the pandemic, theatres suffered significant financial losses due to a sharp decrease in footfall. Our reporter Harry Jewell headed to the Theatre Royal in Winchester to find out how one venue has recovered post-lockdown.
The COVID-19 pandemic was devastating for businesses of all kinds, but the entertainment and hospitality sectors were hit especially hard. With the pandemic having exited stage left, how are venues like the Theatre Royal in Winchester managing?
In terms of family and comedians, they're very much coming back and enjoying life and being out and about again. I think what we have done to our programme is make it a little bit more commercial so that because people are wanting a feel-good, happy time, so we have sort of changed our programming slightly just to reflect that.
Following on from the pandemic, theatre revenue has gone up by around 7%. However, adjusted for inflation, real revenue theatres have taken in has actually fallen by around 1% since 2019. However, attendance is still lower than pre-pandemic levels, in part due to the rise of cost of living. Harry Jewell, Winchester News Online.
It's hard to beat a great bargain, and second-hand clothes are a great way to get a good one. In fact, thanks to our love of cheap stuff, charity stores managed to stay afloat during the pandemic, and in fact now they're doing better than ever. Alfred Morris went to the shops to find out why.
Charity shops have long been a staple of the British high street. Bargain-loving Brits have a soft spot for the institution, so it's no wonder that during the current cost of living crisis, the sector has grown. In fact, according to recent reports, it's grown 10% in the past year. But it's not just the prices that are driving this growth.
You've got the demise of high street shops, so your options are quite limited in terms of where you can shop. But also I just think there is a trend in looking for something unique and something different. We get very high quality donations.
I spoke to a British Heart Foundation worker who wished to remain anonymous, and they said they've been experiencing higher footfall and people are buying more variety. They said this might be happening because it's more sustainable and you don't need to buy new clothes. They also said that you can get brands for cheaper and that it's the last community shop, that you wouldn't maybe chat to the cashier in a fast fashion chain. Whilst it's hard to actually prove that young people are buying more secondhand than before, #charity shopping on TikTok has racked up more than 85 million views, so the idea is clearly popular.
In secondhand compared to retail, there's like a variety of clothing. Like you can find individual unique pieces from whoever's wardrobe that was donated to the charity shop, whereas buying from a brand that doesn't really give you that variety or that originality that a lot of our generation is looking for.
So with charity shopping providing a desirable and sustainable alternative to high street fast fashion, we can hope to see their doors staying open, with their proceeds going towards the many causes that they support. Alfred Morris, Winchester News Online.
Southampton Football Club are still looking for their next manager, as Nathan Jones was sacked after their game against Wolves. Ruben Sellers has taken over as caretaker manager and was in the dugout for the first time at the weekend. Lily Gage has the latest.
After Southampton's 1-0 win against Chelsea at the weekend, Ruben Sellers is the bookies' favourite as of today. Despite talks breaking down last week over contract length, Jesse Marsh still remains 6-1 with the bookmakers. Several ex-England internationals are also amongst those in the running to take over from Nathan Jones.
I don't know, Steven Gerrard.
I think it should be Sanchez, especially after our performance last weekend, or this weekend, should I say.
Southampton play their relegation rival Leeds United this weekend. A win here would put them above their opponent. Another 3 points on Saturday could help secure Ruben Sellers as permanent manager next season.
With summer just around the corner, many people will be dusting off their cricket bats ready for the new season. However, a group of friends from Southampton will be picking up baseball bats instead. Our reporter Owen Noon was at a recent training session to find out more.
England isn't the first place that pops to mind when thinking of baseball. But America has found its way to the New Forest thanks to a newly formed baseball team, the Thunder Knights. Their aim is to open up and introduce baseball to anybody that wants to learn, play and experience a competitive sport in a new environment within the community.
Yeah, I think it's a massive thing for the wider community. We've already secured a number of sponsorships for the team. A lot of local charities, local support groups have really come out in a big way to support us. It's a great way to really engage locally with some sport, engage with a bit of different sport as well if you're not really into the traditional UK sports that are played, so it's brilliant.
Yes, so baseball's super small at the moment and it has been for the 2 decades that I've followed it, but it's slowly growing and new teams popping up all across the country. So anybody that's interested in baseball across the country shouldn't have too far to go now for a local team, which is great.
The Thunder Knights play their first games in April and say that training will start to ramp up with more outdoor sessions coming very soon. They also explained to me how the name Thunder Knights actually came along.
I think there was a committee decision, and they couldn't decide between the Thunder and the Knights, so they just stuck it together, and that's how it started.
The Knights are currently based at Wide Lane Sports Ground in Southampton, but are hoping to set up a permanent base in the New Forest very soon. Since becoming members of the British Baseball Federation, the Thunder Knights hope to help grow more attraction towards baseball in the local area and even further afield.
With the appeal of American football and basketball already growing rapidly in the UK, are teams such as Thunder Knights going to be a first step for Britain in growing baseball in England as well?
Owen Noon, Winchester News Online.
That's all that we have time for this week. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.